Hi there, clan. Welcome to a requested video. Well, so like, okay, E3 is finished now, and I've basically covered the press events and the BioWare and Witcher 3 stuff. I might do one or two more videos where I talk about Witcher 3 a little bit more, or maybe even more on BioWare, depending on what other information may get released in the next few days. Because you know what happens, once E3's done, they release a little bit more information. I will try and ask the developers, but can't promise anything. Right now, however, I am going to cover some games that people asked me to talk about, and these are the three that were most requested. I got about 4 or 5 people requesting these, and I says, you know what, I tried to do an individual video on each one, but I just couldn't, it wasn't a good video. I stuttered, I mumbled, and it just wasn't entertaining. So I'm only going to talk about the 3 games that were people requested. Those 3 games are Middle-earth, Shadows of Mordor, Destiny, and Assassin's Creed Unity. I'm going to talk about all 3 of those games in this video. Not really too much detail because I am going mostly from the E3 information and my own personal opinion. This isn't really going to be an update video and telling you everything I know about the games. I'm only going to give my opinions, just to clarify that. So hopefully you'll stick around and enjoy it. And let's dive right into this little video, shall we? Okay, let's start with Destiny. This is probably the one I don't have that much to say about. If you don't know, Destiny is from the creators of Halo, Bungie. And this is actually their first multi-platform released game, not including Halo, which Halo 1 and 2 went to PC, but the ports on them were absolutely horrendous. But Bungie is branching out and making this first-person, I'm not sure, I think there might be a third-person element to it, but I've only seen first-person shooter version, a shooter game. MMO basically. It's they announced it last year, I think maybe the year before that. I'm not 100% certain. Shows how much I actually care about this game. The game is interesting in the fact that it is something I haven't seen before. I have seen other other first-person style MMO games in the past, but I haven't played any of them. I really don't have much to say on Destiny besides that it looks very Halo-esque. It's basically like Halo the MMO in a way, just a new storyline and all that. There are a lot of similar elements to it, but I can honestly say that while I do have some interest in Destiny, I don't have enough to maybe play it. I'm going to be honest. The only way I could see myself playing this if I was playing it with a clan, like for the Patreon thing that we do once a month. I could maybe see us doing that. But I honestly don't have much to say about it. It does look like a graphically stunning game in some instances, but I can't really see this type of game keeping my interest for long. I don't think... I liked the Halo franchise up until a point. I played Halo 1, 2, 3, and Reach. I actually played a little bit of ODST, but I don't talk about that game. That game never happened. And I didn't play Halo 4 because, for me personally, Halo's story, main story with Master Chief ended in Halo 3. I don't really count Halo 4. I have seen a playthrough of it, and Cortana was my favourite character in that, by the way, and it was very sad to see her go. Spoiler alert. But I will admit that the game Destiny does pique my interest. That if it is free to play, which I'm not 100% certain if it is, I think it is, and there'll be microtransactions. Don't quote me on that. It shows how much I actually care about this game. I actually haven't been paying too much attention to it. But I could see it maybe a game I'd play once maybe play with a few friends for a while. But unless I could play with those friends on a regular basis, I couldn't see it keeping my interest for more than a month, maybe month or two at most. And even then, only playing it once or twice a week. It's a game that doesn't really interest me, if I'm going to be honest. But, as I say, if enough of you want me to check it out, and it is free to play, I will do a video or two on it, or maybe check it out. But I can't see myself playing that game for more than maybe a day, or maybe a month or two at most, if I had some people to play it with. I don't know if Lady Insanity, AMD, or Ability will be getting it. If they do get it, maybe I'll get it, and we'll try and maybe play it together every now and then. I don't know who else will be getting it. It does pique my interest, but I don't think it's enough to maybe buy it, in my opinion. So it'll all depend on what in the coming months what the game looks like. I haven't even looked at any of the alpha gameplay footage that's out there for the alpha test that was going on during E3. I haven't even watched any of that gameplay because I really, that shows I just don't have an interest in the game, and I don't put a lot of effort in the games I'm not interested in, sadly. So I do apologise if you're hoping for more. That's all I really have to say on Destiny. It looks alright, but I don't think it's my type of game. And now we move on to the next one, which is Shadows of Mordor, or Middle-earth Shadows of Mordor. This game actually does pique my interest, but I tried to do a whole video on it, and I repeated myself too many times, and the video just wasn't that good, so I decided to scrap that whole video and just put it into along with this one. So, what's my opinion? Like, if you're unaware, Middle-earth Shadows of Mordor is a game set in the Lord of the Rings universe, or Middle-earth universe as it probably should be known, and it's set between the events of The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings trilogy, but it really doesn't have anything to do with either one of the books. It's its own independent story, which is the thing that actually interests me the most about it. I personally think the Lord of the Rings games, I've only played the licensed ones. I don't know. I do know there's War in the North, but apparently that wasn't that good. And I don't see why there isn't more stuff like this, like Shadows of Mordor, where instead of basing it during the events of the Lord of the Rings or the events of the Hobbit, why not? That you've got what, over 100 fucking years in between to actually do a story. Because I think like Bilbo was, I think it was like his 20s or something. And by the time Lord of the Rings came around, he was over 100. So you've got plenty of space. So I definitely think that that's what piques my interest about this. However, the story itself actually isn't piqued my interest yet. It's your standard revenge story. The only thing that's interesting about the story is that you play a ranger from Gondor who basically becomes a ring wraith. He becomes possessed by a wraith even though he doesn't possess one of the rings, which is piquing my interest in how the fuck did he become a wraith then. So that aspect does pique my interest, but it's basically a revenge story. This guy gets killed along with his family, and he gets brought back from the dead, and he's seeking revenge against the forces of Mordor. Mordor. The story sounds very cliche, but the thing that actually interests me the most about this game is the Nemesis system, which, if you're unaware of it, is the best way I can describe it is, in the game you'll be hunting down various factions of orcs, the Mordor forces. There'll be the hierarchy ones, which like their leaders, their generals, that kind of ones, and then there'll be sub leaders, lieutenants. It keeps going down from there, and there'll be these ones are people. These are orcs of interest. Oovs. There we go. Orcs of interest. Oovs. They're oovs instead of POVs. It's oovs. And that is what these ones will be that, and how you interact with them will actually affect how their characteristics of that particular orc will go, and if that orc stays where they are, gains more power, or if you just flat out kill them, who replaces them, or who gains more powerful. And that's how the Nemesis system is kind of going to work, is that depending on your actions when you're going after these targets, whether you dominate them, which is actually almost like taking control of them with your wraith-like abilities and ordering them to cause sabotage or cause disruption amongst the Mordor forces, that is what your wraith-like abilities will allow you to do, and that'll cause power shifts and all that throughout the entire area. But also what's more interesting in this game is that if you go after a target and you actually get killed, you actually can die in this game, and it isn't just a game over. Your character will come back to life. That's been spoiled already. And if that target that you went after successfully kills you, they gain more powerful, and they will actually remember you and says, "I've killed you once before, I'll just have to fucking do it again." Ha ha ha. They'll actually remember that, and also, if you go after them but they get away, they'll remember that as well. And I actually find that really fascinating. And I actually really want to see if they can pull off this Nemesis system perfectly, because I definitely see that having more replayability and depending on your actions. And I actually like the look of the game from that aspect alone. The story interests me a little bit, but the whole Nemesis system and building up a story around these Nemesises are ones that I am actually more interested in the main story. And I actually like the look of the Nemesis system and how it's going to be implemented. Will it succeed or will it fail? I really don't have much else to say on that factor. The game does interest me for that aspect alone, and I do think it is a nice little touch to actually go into something else in the Middle Earth rather than just going with the books. And I don't know why I'm pointing over there. Those aren't the books that I have over there. Those are the Game of Thrones books, or Song of Ice and Fire. My apology, purists. But I am interested in it. I'm not a huge Lord of the Rings fan or Middle Earth fan. I've read half of the Fellowship of the Rings. I've read The Hobbit. I've seen the movies. That's about it. I've played one or two of the games. I don't know much about Middle Earth. I respect it. Don't before it fucking kills me. I respect the franchise. It has impacted the world. That franchise has impacted the world. Fucking hell, it's impacted. I should say that much. I've got a fucking D&D book here. And D&D is basically a subdirector of that because the Lord of the Rings came before D&D, but that's beside the point. So I do like the look of this game, and I am interested to see if they can actually pull it off. Whether or not I pick it up, it really does come down to my financial situation at the time. But right now I can definitely say I probably will pick it up if it does continue to pique my interest, especially the Nemesis system. Now we'll move on to the last and final game I'm going to talk about, which is Assassin's Creed Unity. Okay, firstly, if you're not familiar with my history with the Assassin's Creed franchise, it's sort of like... Okay, here it is. Wasn't a big fan of the first one. I played it, completed it, didn't think it was that big of a deal. Second game was absolutely fantastic. Definitely one of the best games I've ever played in a long time. Assassin's Creed 3, by the way, I didn't play Revelations or Brotherhood. Assassin's Creed 3, massive disappointment. Character of Connor was fucking disappointing as hell. The story was not that interesting. His father, Haytham, was more interested. Assassin's Creed Black Flag, best game in the series, had the best story and the best protagonist of Edward Kenway, and in a way also had the best characters in the entire series, with the whole pirate theme with Blackbeard and the various other ones that were in there. And in my opinion, Assassin's Creed Black Flag is actually the best Assassin's Creed game there is. Mainly because it had an absolutely fantastic story, and in my opinion is the best story that they've ever told in the series, and also Edward Kenway is the best assassin character ever. I absolutely adored him. It's one of the few games that actually brought a tear to my eye at the end of it, by the way. But I digress. Let's talk about Assassin's Creed Unity. Okay, firstly, I'm going to have to talk about the controversy. If you're unaware, supposedly some of the developers come out and apparently one of the things that came up with the whole with the debut was this. There were more severed heads in the Assassin's Creed demo than there were females. And some developers have came out and said this, including some from Ubisoft themselves, that it is more difficult. The reason that there is not that many females, and I could be misquoting this, but I'm mostly going from third-hand knowledge and various different sources. Supposedly a developer came out, one or two developers have came out and stated that it is more difficult. The reason there is no females in the trailer and also no female lead protagonist is because it's more difficult to animate a female body. I'd rather not talk about this topic, but if I have to, I will do a whole video on it, but I'll say this right now. Those developers really put their foot in their mouth, and I feel so sorry for the PR department. They're going to have to clean up that shitstorm. I really, really do feel sorry for them, because that is a shitstorm I wouldn't want to deal with. Okay? Let's just say, did they ever play the other Assassin's games? Assassin's Creed Black Flag, for example, had really good female characters. Two of the fucking main cast members, I can't remember the bloody names, I do apologise. I know one's called Bonnie, and one's a redhead. I do apologise, I'm horrible with names. But when else did I play Assassin's Creed? The Black Flag. But there were two female characters in that game who were good characters. That besides the point. I'm going to say this right now. I'd rather not talk about this topic because I have my own opinion and I don't want to piss people off. Okay, I kind of want to piss people off and easily get some views and get that cha-ching, but I'm not going to. But I will say that controversy has overshadowed the game. And I'm going to talk about the game, not this controversy, okay? So if you want me to give my full opinion on it, let me know and I will do a video on it. But let's just say, right now I feel sorry for the PR department for Ubisoft. And also the other ones that came out. The game. I really have no interest in it. I'm going to be honest. Really, the main thing is, though, they're showing off the gameplay, and it's the same gameplay we've seen from every Assassin's Creed game ever. The only reason I picked up Assassin's Creed Black Flag is because of the story trailers and the character of Edward Kenway. That's what made me pick it up. It wasn't the gameplay, because let's face it, every Assassin game's the bloody fucking same. No matter what they add, it's the fucking same. The only reason Assassin's Creed Black Flag stood out was the naval mission. The naval system was absolutely fantastic and the best part of that game. Assassin's Creed Unity. It's set during the French Revolution. Now, I like my history. I used to be a bit of a history buff when I was younger, and not so much anymore. And a little known fact is that I was initially intended to actually go into the field of history, but things happened, sadly. But Assassin's Creed Unity, until they reveal some story elements or a little more about the story of the game, right now I don't have much interest in it, because all they've really shown is gameplay. And they have also stated that they'll be introducing co-op for the first time in the game, and it won't be crucial to the main story, but it will help out there. I'm a big fan of alternative history, and that's what the Assassin's Creed franchise is to me. The reason I was interested is because it's an alternative history story, a what-if scenario, if you be so blunt. I'm very much in that. I like those kind of stories, like what if, one of the most common one, what if the Nazis won World War II? That one's been done to death. I actually like that, like, what if they did win? What would happen? And that's why I kind of like Wolfenstein and New Order, because it's a what if scenario. What if Winston Churchill had died in New York when he was hit by a cab? What if William Wallace had lost the Scottish War of Independence? What if Hitler, instead of becoming an absolute douchebag and wanting to kill all the Jews, actually was a good artist and became one of the most influential artists of our generation? What if Hitler's mum had an abortion? But you get where I'm going with. And the reason I used Hitler, by the way, is just because I mentioned Nazis. I do apologise if I offended anyone. I'm just saying I like what-if scenarios, okay? I like those kind of stories. And I've actually realised my window's open, but I don't care. I like that kind of story. I like alternative history stories. Even in fictional settings like comic books, I actually do like Elseworld stories. Those are some of my favourites, actually. I like alternative realities. It's definitely one I actually like. And that's why I like about the Assassin's Creed franchise, because it's a little bit of, what if there were Assassins and Templars? What if? But as I say, really Assassin's Creed Unity has not shown me anything new. The only thing that kind of piqued my interest in this was the fact that it's set during the French Revolution, which is it's an interesting part of history. And also the fact that they mentioned during the demo that you could walk around the city during the Revolution, you'll see people being murdered, mugged, I'm pretty sure we'll probably even have to stop a few rapes, and you'll actually have to choose whether or not you help these people. And that each little story, each little thing that you investigate, like a murder, if you investigate a murder, will reveal a little bit more of the story. And that actually interested me, because I'm always one of those types of people that looks in the background when I'm playing a game. Like, I like seeing what happens in the background, and a lot of games don't do that. And I must admit, this is actually piquing my interest. I like the idea that if I'm walking around the entire city during the French Revolution and I see someone getting murdered, I have a choice to make. I can go and kill the murderer who just killed the person in front of me, eye for an eye kind of thing. I can stop someone from robbing someone. I can maybe stop a rape. I can maybe help someone out in certain situations. I can solve a murder and give some peace to a grieving wife. That does pique my interest if they do pull that off a little bit. But I'm going to be honest, it's just another Assassin's Creed game. And supposedly there's another one going to be coming out round about the same time, which I'm like, come on! How many Assassin's Creed games, instead of doing a yearly one, you're now going to do 2 a year? What the fuck are you doing? But yeah. I am interested in that aspect about the building little mini stores around there. But it's just another Assassin's game, and I really don't have much else to say on it, besides that it's probably going to deal... I can guarantee what it's going to deal with. Hunting down Templars, finding information, that's about it. That's what's going to happen. But I will wait for story trailers. That is the thing I'm waiting for. I will wait and see, but in all honesty, from what I've seen already of the main character, he does not look that interesting. He looks like he's going to be another Connor. But I'll be patient. I'll wait. The thing I loved the most about Edward Kenway was this. He was not an assassin. He was a pirate. He was a normal guy who wanted to get a better life for his family. Turned into a pirate. Happened to kill an assassin, stole his outfit, and then the rest is history. He didn't care about the Assassins. He didn't care about the Templars. All he cared about was money. And that's what made him a bit more believable. This new one, I don't know anything about him. I don't know that much. But from what I've seen already, he doesn't actually pique my interest. I'll be patient. I do not judge something until I've played it. The game does look interesting. I like the Assassin's Creed franchise. But until they actually reveal some story elements, I don't have much else to say on it. I will wait, and I will be patient, and I'll wait for more stuff to come out. But I think that's where I'm going to end it. I don't have much else to say on it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Let me know what your thoughts are on the games I mentioned. Like, what's your thoughts on Destiny? What's your thoughts on Shadows of Mordor? Shadows of Mordor. What's your thoughts on Assassin's Creed Unity? Let me know what your thoughts are. What one of those three games are you actually the most excited for? Are you excited for Destiny, Assassin's Creed, or Shadows of Mordor? What one are you more excited for? And personally, if you ask me, probably Shadows of Mordor. I'm more excited for that than the other two, if you wanted me to be honest. Other than that, I thank you for watching. I thank you for taking the time out to watch this video. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, I'm Scottish Warrior 92, and I'll see you all next time. Ciao for now. Mwah. Hey there, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. If you want to help this channel out in any way, shape or form, you can hop over to my Patreon page and donate a minimum of $1 a month to help towards resources for the channel, licenses, equipment and other resources. And hopefully you will consider at least having a little look at my Patreon page, which is linked in the description. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time.